Hello, friends. Let's see, there we go. Danielle, let me get my light on. It looks so dark. This room that I'm in is a sunroom that was put on between my house and my garage. Became my office, but it's full of windows on both sides, and then the ends don't have windows. But it always looks so dark on here. Anyway, we are doing Job 37 through 39. I'm so glad you guys are here again this morning. I love doing this with you. And I have so much more energy because those grandkids wore me out. And then we had a mission trip yesterday that they left on Tuesday. And then yesterday was kind of a working day all day. I don't know if I've ever worked that hard. I went to bed and my body just hurt, right? But I woke up and it's a new day. So I always like to give you something to think on as you're listening so that it makes sense and you can challenge yourself. So I see a new face on there. Hold on. I'm going to see who that is. No, but Melissa, did you get a new picture on your profile? So cute. Danielle, Mike, Kathy, nice seeing you guys. And anyone else who's here, feel free to say hi. We love having you. We know that almost 800 people are listening every day, and it's just such a joy. We're glad you're all here. But this is what I want you guys to think about. So God speaks. That's what I titled this one. So after 37, man, my notes are small. Hold on. There we go. After 37 chapters of human speech, right? The friends, even just Job laboring to God, all this, right? The laments, the accusations, the debates, then the Lord answers, and it's out of a whirlwind. So you want to take that in. It's not in the quiet. It's out of this whirlwind. And he does not explain himself, and he doesn't apologize. What he does is he tells Job about the heavenly courts, and the scene in chapters 1 and 2. He does not confirm Job's innocence. Interesting, right? Because it's a moot point. God knows the conditions of his heart. Spoiler alert. Anyway, he does not condemn the friends. Really? He knows the condition of their heart. He knows it all. He does not resolve theological, discrepancies. He doesn't answer a single question that Job had been asking. What he does is he starts asking questions. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Where were you when it sprung into the sea? Have you comprehended the expansion of the earth? Do you know it? Because you know? Have you seen the gates of the deep darkness? Can you bind the chains of the oppressed? Can you loose them, right? Do you know the ordinances of the heavens? See, there's 70 plus questions, but there's a reason for them, and we want to be putting the pieces together. There's no answers given. When God finishes this first wave of questions, Job, he doesn't have a single response because every question is unanswerable. That's the whole point of this part. And the unanswered questions, they do something to Job that 37 chapters of human arguments couldn't do. So let's listen up. I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and then we'll discuss it all. Good morning, Rhonda. Okay, here we go.
Job 37. At this also my heart trembles and leaps out of its place. Keep listening to the thunder of his voice and the rumblings that come from his mouth. Under the whole heaven he lets it go, and his lightning to the corners of the earth. After it, his voice roars. He thunders with his majestic voice. And he does not restrain the lightnings when his voice is heard. God thunders wondrously with his voice. He does great things that we cannot comprehend. For to the snow he says, fall on the earth. Likewise to the downpour, his mighty downpour. He seals up the hand of every man, that all men whom he made may know it. Then the beasts go into their lairs and remain in their dens. From its chamber comes the whirlwind, and cold from the scattering winds. By the breath of God, ice is given, and the broad waters are frozen fast. He loads the thick cloud with moisture. The clouds scatter his lightning. They turn around and around by his guidance to accomplish all that he commands it on the face of the habitable world. Whether for correction or for his land or love, he causes it to happen. Hear this, O Job. Stop and consider the wondrous works of God. Do you know how God lays his command upon them and causes the lightning of his cloud to shine? Do you know the balancings of the clouds, the wondrous work of him who's perfect in knowledge? You whose garments are hot when the earth is still because of the south wind, can you, like him, spread out the skies, hard as a cast metal mirror? Teach us what we shall say to him. We cannot draw up our case because of darkness. Shall it be told him that I would speak? Did a man ever wish that he would be swallowed up? And now, no one looks on the light when it is bright in the skies, when the wind has passed and cleared them. Out of the north comes golden splendor. God is clothed with awesome majesty. The Almighty, we cannot find him. He is great in power. Just as abundant righteousness he will not violate. Therefore men fear him. He does not regard any who are wise in their own conceit. Job 38. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Dress for action like a man. I will question you, and you make it known to me. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determines its measures? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk, or who laid its cornerstone when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea with the doors when it burst out from the womb? When I made clouds, its garment, and thick darkness, its swaddling band, and prescribed limits for it, and set bars and doors, and said, Thus far shall you come, and no further, and here shall your proud ways be stayed. Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place? That it might take hold of the skirts of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it. It is changed like clay under the seal, and its speeches stand out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and their uplifted arm is broken. Have you entered into the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been revealed to you? Or have you seen the gates of deep darkness? Have you comprehended the expanse of the earth? Declare if you know all this. Where is the way to the dwelling of light? And where is the place of darkness? That you may take it to its territory, and you may discern the path to its home. You know, for you were born then, and the number of your days is great. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow? Or have you seen the storehouses of the hail, which I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war? What is the way to the place where the light is distributed, or where the east wind is scattered upon the earth? Who has cleft a channel for the torrents of rain, and a way for the thunderbolt, to bring rain on the land where no man is, on the desert in which there is no man, to satisfy the waste and desolate land, and to make the ground sprout with grass? Or who has begotten the drops of dew? For whose womb did the ice come forth? And who has given birth to the frost of heaven? The waters become hard like stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades, or loose the cords of Orion? Can you lead forth the Mazareth on their season, or can you guide the bear with its children? Do you know the ordinance of heaven? Can you establish the rule on earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds, that a flood of waters may cover you? Can you send forth lightnings, that they may go and say to you, Here we are? Who has put wisdom in the inward parts, or given understanding to the mind? Who can number the clouds by wisdom, Who can tilt the water skins to the heavens when the dust runs into the mass and the clocks stick fast together? Can you hunt the prey for the lion or satisfy the appetite of the young lions when they crouch in the dens or lie in wait with the thicket? Who provides for the raven its prey when its young ones cry to God for help and wander about for lack of food? Job 39. Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you observe the calving of the does? Can you number the months that they fulfill? And do you know the time when they give birth, when they crouch, bring forth their offspring, and are delivered to their young? Their young ones become strong. They grow up in the open. They go out and do not return to them. Who has let the wild donkey go free? Who has loosed the bonds of the swift donkey, to whom I have given the arid plain for his home and the salt land for his dwelling place? He scorns the tumult of the city. He hears not the shouts of the driver. He ranges the mountains as his pasture, and he searches after every green thing. Is the wild ox willing to serve you? Will he spend the night at your manger? Can you bind him in the furrows with rope? Or will he harrow the valleys after you? Will you depend on him because his strength is great? And will you leave to him your labor? Do you have faith in him that he will return your grain and gather it to your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich wave proudly, but are they the pinions and plumage of love? For she leaves her eggs to the earth and lets them be warmed on the ground, forgetting that a foot may crush them and that a wild beast may trample them. She deals cruelly with her young, as if they were not hers. Though her labor be in vain, yet she has no fear, because God has made her forget wisdom and given her no share in understanding. When she rouses herself to flee, she laughs at the horse and his rider. Do you give the horse his might? Do you clothe his neck with the mane? Do you make him leap like a locust? His majestic snorting is terrifying. He paws in the valley and exults in the strength. He goes out to meet the weapons. He laughs at fear and is not dismayed. He does not turn back from the sword. Upon him rattle the quiver, the flashing spear, and the javelin. With fierceness and rage he swallows the ground. He cannot stand still at the sound of the trumpet. When the trumpet sounds, he says, "Ah!" He smells the battle from afar, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Is it by your understanding that the hawk soars and spreads its wings toward the south? Is it at your command that the eagle mounts up and takes his nest on high? On the rock he dwells and makes his home, on the rock crag, stronghold. From there he spies out the prey. His eyes behold it from far away. His young ones suck up blood, and where the slain are, there is he.
Okay, let's go ahead and break this down. Yeah, all those questions, right? It makes you sort of ponder, yeah, who do I think I am to know all this, right? And we know a lot of it with the knowing of all knowing, but that even comes from the Lord. That assurance that we have right now and sit on and stand firm in, that's from God. And you see individuals caught in the workings of the world, and you see the anxiety and the overwhelm and the craziness. That's part of it, is that when you struggle to get the connection and you surrender yourself to the Lord, and the Lord affirms, and there's revelation, and that's where that peace, joy, love, forbearance, gentleness, kind, in any and all situations. But enough. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. So first chapter then, I call this teaching point the whirlwind, right? God answers from the storm, not from silence. And we have other Bible verses where we just love the fact that, listen, like, I think Moses, is asking at this time and this time and this time, and they were hard, difficult times. And it wasn't until it was quiet that God answered. And this is the opposite. And it doesn't mean that like, because it was written in the word that I saw that he answers in the quiet. That doesn't mean that's the only time he answers. We need to know the fullness of God. And so he is there in the crazy times, in the quiet times. He's always there. The point is, what is he teaching us as he's answering? So Job 38, 1-4 is, then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind, and he said, who is this that darkness counsel by, who is that darkness counsel by words without knowledge? That's the crux of it as we go on. Words without knowledge. We heard a lot of that, right? He's the one who knows. If we want wise words, they need to be his words. This is what Holy Spirit intercession is about. This is sometimes praying in the Spirit, is that we don't even know what to say or to ask for, but we can pray in the Spirit and his words intercede. So this is my challenge for you. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? That first question. It's not about Job's suffering. And this whole chapter is about Job's suffering, but is it? Is that what we're supposed to be learning? See, it's about Job's whereabouts at the creation of the world, the question that can't be answered. No one was around there. Man wasn't even made. The God who has or is being questioned still today is about governance of our lives. So we go to God in prayer often in bad times, and we're willing at that point to say, God, I know you're over it all. So, we seek him there. But God is trying to say, listen, from the beginning of time, I have known it all. Think of the Garden of Eden. That was the trick of the enemy right out of the gates. Do you want to know what God knows? From the beginning of time, knowledge is going to save us, redeem us, let us be strong. And it's not knowledge of our own doing. It's that knowledge that comes only from God. And it's as Christians and New Testament believers, that access to the knowledge. Not for us to become wise, but for us to access God and his insight and discernment and revelation. And not perfectly, but the closer we are to him, the closer we'll start to see and understand. Okay, Psalm 18, 11-12. He made darkness his covering, his canopy around him, thick clouds, dark with water. Out of the brightness before him, hailstones and coals by fire broke through. See, the psalmist in this verse is describing God's answering in the darkness and in the storm. And this is the same theology that we see here in Job 38. God speaks through supernatural phenomena. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's really sweet. Yesterday, I had been part of this mission group of an individual, like literal health issues and stuff, and really needed help. And so we went in and we did a lot. And that can be very overwhelming for someone to just have a team of people come in and pow. And 2-3 hours later, the sun was setting at this person's house, and they took a picture and had a sweet note about basically this individual saw this magnificent sunset, and it was with a different insight. It was with a different look. And that's what's happening here is God is so miraculous, and we don't see it always. That same sunset's been happening out that person's house window for years. But that day, the revelation of it was made deeper. God's phenomenons, God's magnificent, his power, his insight, his wisdom, it's always been there. We just aren't able to see it sometimes. And when it starts to kick in, it's so good. Okay, let me do the next one. 1 Kings 19, 11-12. And behold, the Lord passed by, And a great and strong wind tore through the mountains and broke in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake was fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, the sound of a low whisper. See, Elijah can speak through the storms. The comparison, see, his encounter, Elijah's, established that God is not always in the storm. And this is what's happening here in Job. We're reminded that the storm is often just the world's doings. But it was God who set it all in place, and God who knows that it's all happening and is able to show up and save us and redeem us. All right. So for this teaching point, before we move to the next one, is practice receiving God's presence in your current storm. Just like close your eyes, surrender, and invite God into your space. Like, get rid of all pretenses. Just like bring to mind anything that isn't of God and lay it at the foot of the cross, and know with a knowing that our body is a temple and God wants to be in that space. It's us with our free will allowing him to come in. So the next teaching point, 70 questions. I mean, right? It's kind of cool that like beforehand, I was like, okay, you're going to hear all these questions the Lord has for us. Well, God asked Job, where were you? Blah, 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 right through all of it. So they're not like rhetorical questions necessarily. It's like the accumulation of them starts to make you think, why do I want to try to know in my own knowing? I don't want that. I want the God who made everything, who is behind every decision that set this world in action. Job 38:31, can you bind the chains or loose the belt? See, that's powerful. Do you know what that means? Like, badness of this world, he's over it all. And in a second, he can bind them all up. Loose them, in the pits of hell, loose them in the reins of his work for freedom. Like, that is the God. That is our God. So Isaiah 40:12-14 is a good Bible verse that kind of talks along the same line. So who has measured the waters in the hollow of the hand, marked off by the heavens with a span, enclosed the dust of the earth into measure and weights of the mountains and the scales of the hills in balance? Like all that, right? Who has measured the Spirit of the Lord? I want to talk so much about that, but I can't. You just see in this text the same things. Who's done these things? Who taught God? No one taught God. God was the creator of it all, and it affirms it in us once more. Romans 11:33-34 says, oh, the depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are the judgments and unscrutable, I think that's how you say it, are the ways of him. So that not only the things that we can see, but the doings that he does. His doings are righteous, and we can take them. We are the believers, all of us, I know, because this is how we feel and we say it, and we're like, yep, give it to me. We want God's ways. And if it means being pruned, fine, do it, Lord. Oh, that's scary to say. That is scary to say. If you mean it, it should, like me, a little scratchy throat, a little tears in the eyes, because you just want to be corrected, rebuked of your bad ways. You want to be refined, not so you can be great, so others can see the greatness of God, so that your gifts and talents are used more fully, so that you find more peace and joy and love and forbearance and gentleness, right? Okay. So your reflection, 25, your reflection is, or your challenge. Read Job 38 and 39 from the beginning in one sitting, because it'll give you a kind of a new insight on it. But all these questions, read them fast without stopping or listen again. But let each one land individually. Like as you're listening in one fell swoop, let each one soak in. Don't skip one, because this inventory of sorts, foundation, sea, dawn, the gates of Hades, death gates, the snow, the light, the stars, the lion, the raven, the mountains, the wild donkeys, the horses, the hawks. It's an accumulation of what God governs. If we have this knowledge and are willing to believe that that is our God, then you're going to start doubling down on him more. Your faith will increase and you will start to get out of the way more, ask him to prune you more, lean on him more. You'll want him to show up. Okay, teaching point number 3, who put wisdom in the inward parts? So the God who governs both the cosmos and the individual lives, right? This is pretty much Job 38, 36 through 37, who put wisdom in the inward parts, right? But this teaching, I didn't want to skip over. There are a couple Bible verses that remind us of this theology that I want us to talk about. So Matthew 6:26 says, look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather in the barns and yet their heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more important than them? So again, how can we not trust God for our own life? And there lies the problem. If we understand the greatness of him, we desire to throw ourselves at him, to bow down before the Lord Almighty. So Psalm 139, also such a pure look at who you are, wounds and all, imperfections and all. Psalm 139, for you formed me in my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb, and I praise you, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it, or it sits right with my soul. This is before the world came and started messing with you. Imperfections of the world. You were a perfect creation, and God knew who you're supposed to be and who you will be. God knows this before your first breath. It's so cool. All right, so your challenge this week, expand your frame. Every time you notice God's apparent absence in an area, suffering, maybe doubt, whatever it is, if you see his absence, pay attention to that spot. He's sustaining you, and stand firm in that. Remember the cloud, the bird, the rising sun, the wisdom. Let the evidence of who he is continue to provide provision, and then give him thanks. Don't think it was a coincidence. Don't think, oh God, okay, I'm good till my next little tragedy. No, recognize, give him honor and glory in those spaces. All right, we only have 1 minute. Here are your 5 things to journal on. Number 1, God answered in the whirlwind, not the silent times. Is there a storm in your life right now where he is speaking to you? Number 2, who is this dark counsel by words without knowledge? Start to think about this. Is it your own speech? Is it speech from your friends? Listen to the character of what you're hearing, because the character of God is grace. The character of God is sure. He's a straight shooter. He's going to give you biblical truths, and whether you want them or not. That's the character of God. But it won't be wrapped in condemnation. It won't be wrapped in guilt and shame. If that is happening, that is the enemy. Number 3, who is this dark counsel, by words without knowledge. I think I just said that. Number 3, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? So all these challenges, the next thing, all the challenges that God and the questions God gave us was simply to get us to see and hear fast all the makings and power and might that he has. Recognize it. The next one is, who put wisdom in the inward parts? He made us. It comes off the skirt tails of us just learning that he made the skies and the suns and the plants and everything else. And how could he make all these beautiful things and then say, you know what? And then I'm just going to make this little peon over here. I mean, he wouldn't. We are awesome and wonderful. And it's the world that's kind of tainting us. And we need to die to the flesh. Say, you know what? I want more of God. He is magnificent, and that will allow me to be stronger. And the last one is, who provides for the raven its prey when a young one cries out? Who's trying to get to us? The enemy in the world. And just like those birds, praise around, and we're crying out, just like the birds, Mom, where are you, right? And who's going to show up? Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. All right, let's go ahead. I'm a minute over. We're going to pray ourselves out of here. I'm not seeing any questions or anything, but you guys stayed on the whole time. Let's go ahead and pray. Father, you answer every question we can have about this world. It's just a matter if we believe it and think of it. You answer in the whirlwinds. You answer in the quiet. It isn't about whether you're here or not. It's about whether we know it or not. Our job is to not know everything of the earth. Our God is to know that you do and to put our faith and hope and trust in you. Lord, we weren't there when you laid down the foundation of the earth, but you put it in writing in our Bible, and you want us to read it and know it. And Lord, I have prayers of thanksgiving for these people that come here every day and listen and learn and challenge me. Lord, you spoke from the whirlwind. We are, many of us, in a whirlwind right now with this crazy world, and we are listening. In Jesus' name. All right, everyone, go live, love, learn, and lead according to the call God has on your life.